and then draw your conclusion. Right. So stimulation of the larynx, the voice box, and elongation of the vocal cords. What we call voice breaking.
Right.
All right. So it gives you this deep baritone voice, and depending on the job that you do, then you may find that a plus. Increase in muscle mass and strength. Kwame, said you, and Indian American, you Jimmy Saharo. And Tokwano does so. Hey, macho men, and they are calling them, and they are fighting political season, aggression. My boys used to fight. Now, then they are being very aggressive towards each other. They've entered the pubertal period, the teenage period, and that's what testosterone does. It builds your muscle mass. All of a sudden, then you think they are strong. Kofi wants to lift everything. That I can lift it. I said, Kofi wants to be in fire. Oh, I can lift it. You're just trying to prove to you that he's now stronger, and he feels that way. They feel stronger because of the effect testosterone has on bone, and then bone strength, and then muscle mass. So that's where you start developing the curves too. Shoulders get, biceps gets bigger, and all of that. And then if you go to the gym, then you can easily, so if you start working out in the teenage period, early 20, then you can really build a lot of muscle because you've got the testosterone hitting you like that.
So it makes sense why a lot of men are able to bulk up and build very huge muscles.
Absolutely.
Unlike women.
Exactly. It's not possible for a woman, pound for pound, to get the kind of muscles that a man would have because they don't have that much testosterone. You've got 95% more testosterone than they do.
Okay.
So that's a biological difference. Right. There is also increases in prostate size and function. At a point, it is good up to a point, but then your prostate should stop growing. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And from the discussion we had last 2 weeks, we realized that prostate enlargement as a result of stimulation by testosterone. And that is why, again, benign prostate enlargement is predominantly found in men of African origin compared with other races. It also increases aggressive behavior. Yes, I mentioned that. So that is tied with the muscle and then the bone strength. And testosterone gives you aggression. Again, that's why we see differences between men and women. That with women are generally calmer, but Philip and my insurance people, if you are not careful, the way the women, they will discipline you. You got to be careful. But generally, we would say that because you don't have a lot of testosterone, you tend not to be too aggressive in your behavior. But there's also something that I found which was quite interesting about testosterone, that it improves spatial cognition. All right? Spatial, how you evaluate your environment, the space, around you. So acquisition of information within your space, organization of that information within the space, utilization of that information, about your spatial environment. All these things testosterone is able to do. So men are able to scan open spaces, fields, and take in what is happening, like the way maybe the eagle that is soaring is able to sort of like take in a lot of things. That was something that I found quite interesting.
That is interesting.
So how men talk about their environment or find their way in new surroundings. So if you're going somewhere, you need the Google Maps. Go with a man.
That's your walking map.
That's your walking map. Probably you'll be able to better appreciate the environment. Right. And then lastly, quite the big thing, libido.
Okay.
Libido. So when we talk about libido, we are talking about the overall desire to engage in sexual activity. Right. That is linked to testosterone and your testosterone levels. So quite how many times have you hear that? This man open map. It's spoil. Yeah, that kind of thing. Well, I just want to measure their testosterone levels before I comment.
Very high.
Well, if it's very high, then you can't help it. it's a biological thing. That is one of the effects. So when we measure testosterone, it's a range. All right, so usually from 9 to 27. So if you are towards the lower limit of normal, and then I'm towards the higher limit of normal, come here. I think I will be more.
Oh, I see.
So some people, they want it 3 times a day.
Paracetamol dosage.
Yes, 1 tablet.
No,
2
2 times
tablet.
3. It's 2 times 3.
Hey, I do want to wish you up.
Some to do folic acid 1 daily.
It is a 2 rounds 3 times a day.
Some people is like Diwema. Once in every
6 months.
Yes.
Debbie. Right.
Oh,
So
I see.
all of these things, sometimes when people come to talk to us about these things and they put down these complaints, it may be that you are developing or you may having challenges with the levels of testosterone. Lastly, testosterone is also very important for spermatogenesis, the making and maturation of sperms.
Okay.
So infertility is a big problem. So probably somebody is firing, shooting, fine, then blanks. So male infertility, more often than not, we would want to know the testosterone levels, because if you have oligospermia, very, very low sperm count, or isospermia, there's nothing in there, then we would want to do a testosterone assay to find out whether you have enough testosterone, because you need that for the testis again to be able to produce adequate numbers of sperms for you to be able to father a child.
Okay. Wow. This is quite a very important topic, especially for men, eh?
Right, absolutely. So for men, sexual function, I said, what makes us a man? I've seen in my practice of almost 20 years that it takes a man's ego really, really down when he's not able to sexually perform. I think, we call it your manhood. That's how we actually literally call it, your manhood. So a lot of men actually define they being men by their ability to perform sexually. Somebody asked me, Dr. N.M. I was like, oh, well, you can do a lot of philanthropy or you
Philanthropy.
feel like what? And unfortunately, so I've heard sometimes when there's a fight between a man and a woman, and then the woman will say, "Now, oh yeah, Bema," then I'll beat me, I am. So culturally, and especially in our part of the world, I think I can extend it to other parts of the of the globe. I think it's very, very important for men to have a fulfilling sexual life, and then also to be fertile.
Okay.
Doc,
the testosterone, can we top up?
Oh, sure.
Collins in the UK is asking whether we could take supplements for it.
No. Okay. So one of the areas that I wanted to touch on briefly was also the abuse of testosterone. We give people testosterone jabs in the clinic, and at the hormone clinic. I've had to put some patients on testosterone before, but Kwame, that should be restricted to a doctor, preferably somebody who has some knowledge, also extra knowledge in the field of endocrinology, that's hormone, medicine, because it can be dangerous. The effect probably sometimes, the connection we think sometimes it has with the development of prostate cancer. So we don't really want to use it except in individuals who don't have enough of the testosterone. Those are the ones there.
But are there things we can do to, make the testosterone
naturally improve But amongst all the races, people of African origin, already we have higher than normal levels. But
we are not comparing. We don't care about.
Right.
We are not comparing. But
so make sure you have enough vitamin C in your diet.
Okay.
Make sure you have enough vitamin E also in your diet. These things are antioxidants, particularly the vitamin E, and they also help with the functioning of the cells within the testes that produce the testosterone.
This is very good. This is very good information.
Yeah. Kwame, lastly, I wanted to mention that this issue about ejaculation and testosterone, and then also prostate cancer. All right, we don't have a direct link with the testosterone levels, that if you have very high levels of testosterone, it increases your risk of prostate cancer. There are actually newer studies that are showing that those who have very low levels of testosterone may actually develop it. But then we know that frequent ejaculation reduces the risk of developing, prostate cancer. So that's what we know.
Okay.
So you want to do it like the paracetamol dose.
Yeah.
And we will encourage it. And then, Kwame, my favorite, the last point, the baldness and testosterone levels.
It is a self-aggrandizing statement. You are bald. We know you are bald. You now said hair. Now no hair too. And now what? You don't have hair.
So, Kwame, the level so this is the point.
What is the point?
Higher levels of testosterone does not necessarily mean you will grow bald. But the active form of testosterone acts on the hair follicles, thins them out or miniaturizes them, and causes male pattern baldness. So if you have male pattern baldness, we can deduce that you have good enough levels of the active form of testosterone, DHT. And then we can also deduce that your libido levels will be high. And therefore, performance levels are high. So, ladies, those who are listening, the good book says, oh, go and do anything before marriage.
Yeah.
But if you want to assess, without even doing anything,
the bolder the better.
Formula right here.
My God.
And you see bald, you see male pattern baldness. So you take a picture of Dr. Osafo. That's male pattern baldness.
I told you guys, this is just complete adverts. This is adverts for himself.
I'm not on the market.
So what are you trying to do?
I'm not on the market.
I'm
just
leave the people with hair alone. This you are just attacking the people with hair.
We're not attacking them. I'm just showing them how to do selection.
Go and tell their barbers to just clear their hair. No, okay, anyway. Give us your number. I'm sure a lot of people would want to reach out to you for clarity on a lot of the issues.
Right. So we are able to measure testosterone assays routinely. So those who want to get in touch, 0501 477 340. The WhatsApp number is 0501 477 340. Or you can come by to our urology clinic at number 10 Kincho Street at our East Legon Hills branch, and we will welcome you.
Dr. Yaw Osafo is the CEO of Medicas Hospital, East Legon, and my point cap him lots of very interesting messages here.
Messages.
Zet says, you be guy, the bolder the better.
You see? Oh,
it's okay. You go and get bored, and then they will tell you they want it 3 times a day. With dessert at midnight. Now who's it?
I'm almost stretching. I don't know stretching it.
She want time in the morning, she want time in the evening. They use me as in toothbrush, always brushing for a reason. She want time in the morning, she want time in the